So a spy, a comic book writer, and a board game designer walk into a bar. And they all say, "Ow, who put that bar there?" And then, as they're all rubbing their sore foreheads, they have a brilliant idea. Let's combine forces and make a game called The Initiative. Okay, so maybe that's not how it happened, but if you're still interested in learning more about this crazy cooperative crossover game, then might I suggest? Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. Today we're talking about a new game, fresh from the cellar, called The Initiative from Unexpected Games. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to Kenneth Coble on YouTube who gave me the suggestion for this game. If you have any other new games that you'd like me to run through, drop them below in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell button so you can get notified when I post new content. Alright, let's get into it. The Initiative is a mission-based cooperative game for 2 to 4 people where players take on the roles of 4 kids from 1994 who discover a mysterious game and are drawn into a hidden world of secrets, ciphers, and mysteries. And no, this isn't the plot of Jumanji. The base game plays in legacy format, with each of the 14 missions taking about 30 minutes to complete. After you beat all the missions, there are also post-game objectives that you can complete that give the game an even longer shelf life. The Initiative combines a lot of different smaller mechanics like variable player powers, code breaking, and card laying into one larger unit. It's a little difficult to explain, so let's just get into some of the gameplay. Will The Initiative be the perfect game for you? Let's find out, shall we? Like I mentioned before, The Initiative is a mission-based legacy game, so before every mission, make sure to head to the back of the guidebook and check to see which page of the comic book you're meant to begin with. What comic book, you might ask? Well, if you look into the guidebook, it actually doubles as a nostalgic comic book that helps drive the narrative in between missions. Unfortunately, I can't really share more because of spoilers, but trust me, it's really cool. Now, one of the main plot points of this campaign is that you're playing a board game within a board game called The Key. You'll need to complete objectives and solve clues in this game in order to advance the meta story, but don't worry. Even if you lose your mission, you'll still move on to the next one. You'll just read a different page in the comic, like some sort of choose-your-own-adventure type situation. Here's how you play The Key. You'll set up the board with the tiles specified on the mission card. These file folder tiles have symbols on them that will help you solve your ciphers, but can also be traps that will make your job harder. On your turn, you'll use these number cards to take 1 or 2 actions. They come in 3 different colors, but these suits don't really matter until later on in the campaign. When you play a card to take an action, you'll have to pay attention to the number on that card. Every card that's played to take that same action later on has to have a number that's higher than that card. So it's best to start with low numbers and work your way up. You can take these 3 actions, run, gather, and intel, to help you navigate the board and find the glyphs you need. And you can use the 4th regroup action to clear out any action cards when you need to refresh a pile. You can also discard any 2 cards from your hand to take your player's special power. Your goal with all these actions is to get you closer to solving the main cipher, which can be a word scramble, or a number sequence, or any number of different puzzles that will hint back to the main storyline. At any time throughout the round, you can attempt to solve the cipher, but if you get it wrong, then you'll lose that round immediately, so be careful. If you haven't decided to solve it yet though, the game will go on until you run out of cards in the deck. Once you do, you'll reshuffle it and add these blue time cards into the deck as well. If at any point after that, you draw 3 time symbols and you haven't solved the cipher yet, then the round ends and you lose. So once you draw one of those cards, it's probably a good time to pause and think about what the solution might be. That's about all I can give you without spoiling anything, so let's get into my final thoughts. The Initiative is a unique proposition. I can confidently say that I've never played a game like The Initiative before. I've definitely played games like parts of it. The secrets and ciphers felt like other escape room games like the Unlock series or Cantaloupe. Click up here for my review on that one. The card game portion of it felt like other sequence creation games like Lost Cities or The Game, and the actual move and reveal portion of it felt like a mix between Betrayal and Horrified. The Initiative combines all these elements into one big melting pot, and although at some times it felt like there could be a little bit more synergy in between all the moving parts, it's still an undeniably innovative game that really stands alone in its class. Another thing that I'll mention is that overall, I feel like The Initiative skews more towards a younger, more casual gaming audience, as the concept and the ciphers are pretty straightforward once you get a hang of the gameplay. Because of this, it feels like a great gateway into other legacy games, since the missions are easy to set up and can often be played in 30 minutes or less. This was great for me, as I know someone who's not very good at finishing his legacy games. Ooh,
Me?
The last thing I'll talk about is the components. The art of the comic book and other characters is immaculate, and the pieces of the game have a nice weight and feel to them. My only issue though comes with the main mission console card holder. Unfortunately, the tolerances of this piece are just too tight, which made putting the map and cipher cards in a pain in the butt. Other than that though, I really enjoyed the whole vibe of the game, so I hope they can fix that issue for the next edition. Now, let's get into my recommendations. Here are my recommendations for the type of people that I think would really like the initiative. Number 1, if you're a sucker for all things nostalgic and you really want to recreate the vibes of a show like Scooby-Doo or Stranger Things, then you should get this game. Number 2, if you're really good at deciphering stuff, like maybe those cryptic text messages from your grandma.
No, B8 to res. Beatrice batteries. Together. Me was trying to save time. Bumba.
Then you should definitely check this game out. And number 3, if you're just looking for a new take on a board game with equal parts strategy and intrigue and individual missions that feel really manageable, then might I suggest The Initiative. Thanks so much for sticking around for today's episode of Fresh from the Cellar. I hope it helps you make a decision on whether or not to buy this game. Let me know what you think about The Initiative, and if you have any more suggestions for new games that I should review, drop them below in the comments. Thanks again for all the support so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep growing this channel and keep helping you find your perfect board game. Once again, this has been a Might I Suggest a Game production, and I'm Alex, your board game sommelier, signing off.